All right, so going from spy thriller to creature feature in one chapter is a pretty dope swerve. Hello, and welcome back to the couch. We saved you a seat. My name is Luke, and today we're checking out Chapter 4 of Rogue Protocol. Yes, this is the third book in the Murderbot Diaries series. We're doing Chapter 4. If you want to follow along, there's a link to this book in the description of this video. And we have memberships you can join. They're $2 a month, and they'll help me, buy a cup of coffee or produce this a little better. But we're gonna go. Here it is. This is a long chapter, but a good one. But a good one. All right? The first chapter was slow, methodical. We're trying to figure this out. There's diggers, and there's Murderbot talking to Mickey about what's happening, and you've got these two security people walking around, and there's bitching and moaning and crying, and there's stuff happening. What I like the most about the first half of this book is the table setting. Yes, I've been one to complain about the table setting for this book and for the previous books. This one, however, the way they describe this terraforming apparatus is spectacular, because it reminds me of an ancient floating castle. Does it not? Some ancient floating castle larger than a space station. That's too big to be a space station. Larger than a space station, floating in the air, hovering, barely active. It looks like an instance from World of Warcraft in my brain. It looks like this thing that's ominous is just floating in the sky of this alien planet, and this is a group of explorers and going out to explore this thing, and it's like a scene from Alien, and then all of this is happening. Murderbot's like, no, I really just need evidence so I can pin GrayCris to the wall, because F those guys. It's pretty cool. And then the creatures start showing up, and it gets even more wild. Yeah. It gets even more wild. Murderbot has to show up and save the day. And I can hear the elevator music going off, while the lift is moving him around. The transport inside of this castle. He's trying to get to them to help them while they're doing the stupidest thing. He's even describing it in the feed. He's like, what they're doing is stupid. If I was to try to ambush them, I would ambush them exactly where they stopped. Hilarious. Anyway, I could hear hear Murderbot just tapping the foot. You hear the elevator music. Doors open, slams on the gas, and just takes off, and then gets there just in time to save a bean and pull, and then they lose Hyrule, and they're like, that's a sec unit, and he's like, and Murderbot's like, what? And I'm surprised they didn't end the chapter there, because they could have, but instead they kept going a little bit. They're like, oh, Mickey, help me. Mickey, help me. And Mickey does. Which is pretty cool. Mickey's not just some mindless child bot. Mickey helps. Pretty dope. We like Mickey. And they convince the other humans that, yes, there's a sec unit here, but it was sent here by their company because for extra protection, for liability. Granted, Murderbot gets that none of that makes sense. And they're all like, yep, it makes sense. And of course, Abine's like, yeah, it made sense. So it's good. Then the crew separates, one goes the other way, and the Murderbot and Garuth, I guess. Is it Garuth? Girth. Yeah, sorry. Murderbot and Girth had to go save Haroon, and it's I guess it's Murderbot and Girth and I hope Mickey. I don't know. I don't actually remember who the group was that went to go save Haroon. You know what? I'm just gonna catch up in the next chapter because I'm gonna read it right now. But yeah, this is a long chapter, but pretty good. Pretty good. A lot to think about, right? Because now the plot thickens. We immediately know that these people know that Murderbot is a sec unit, but they don't know that its governor doesn't work. I feel like they're not smart enough to kind of pick up on it like that first group was. Like that first group was like, oh, your governor doesn't work. Well, do you save people? Cool, we don't care. We don't care. it's if they knew the governor module didn't work, I think this group would be extremely terrified. They'd be more terrified of the sec unit than they would be of the monster that's on in this fortress. And let me talk to you about this monster. I can't picture it in my head. They said it moved faster than Murderbot could react to, which I thought was awesome. I'm imagining a spider. I think they mentioned like legs or fingers. I'm imagining something maybe with tentacles. I don't know. How did it get on this terraforming thing? Or, plot twist, probably not, did GrayCris release it on here on purpose so no one would come to that planet? And no one would check it out. And everyone who died, they would just get killed. Did that happen? Maybe. We've known them to sabotage things before. They tried to use sec units before. Now, is it just like, hey, we want to get the most dangerous thing we could find, right? More dangerous than a sec unit. Put it on here and just let it loose, and anyone or anything that shows up on this flying fortress that is a terraforming machine, it'll just absolutely obliterate. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know, we'll see. We're about halfway through the book right now. So they've got to go save Hyrule. There's still the plot about Murderbot being a sec unit on their shuttle, on their away mission, on their exploratory mission. And Murderbot only has the data from the digger, but we don't know if that's what it needs particularly. If that data, if that information, because we know that Murderbot stopped looking at it or stopped gathering it the moment that creature showed up. The moment they knew the creature was showing up. It also has a heartbeat, which I thought was interesting. You know, you introduce not that it has a heartbeat, but it has a, meaning single heartbeat. Like, what if it had two hearts? That would freak me out. Creature with two hearts. Be dope. And the fact that they can hear the heartbeat over the sound of it moving, even scarier. The fact that there's not a ton of sound, houses creak, right? You see things. Heck, I'm in a house right now, and every once in a while, outside of one of these windows, I'm like, every once in a while. It's pretty funny. But no, this is a long, good, necessary chapter. Interested to see where we keep going. But I think that will be it for me. Outside of the things we've already talked about, not a lot happened. Except for Murderbot is excellent at being a spy, excellent at security, and terrible with people, but is maybe the best in the world at saving people, which is awesome. One of my favorite characters in all of anime is Ichigo Kurosaki, because his whole thing is protecting people. It doesn't matter who you are. If he cares about you, he's going to protect you. And he's going to go out of his way to make it happen. I love that that's baked into the code for our Murderbot. And so we'll see how this continues to go. I love that Mickey was thoughtful enough to mislead people in order to, at the very least, prioritize the safety of their group, utilizing Murderbot / the sec unit / Ren / consultant Ren hired Murderbot to do it. That was a little tricky, but yeah. I love that kind of characteristic. I think it's really great. It's admirable. It's fun to watch. It's fun to read about. So we'll see. I think we're gonna start doing Murderbot reactions to the series. So I'm pretty amped about that. We'll see if we can do it. But like I said, I think that's all for us. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe and share. You made it all the way to the end. Make sure to join the membership so we can produce more stuff. It'd be dope. I want to do another book series in tandem with this one. But this one, right, sci-fi. It's a sci-fi book series. I've got one in mind that's like Appalachian American short stories that are in a novel. And so it's a completely different thing. Well, look, we can do the whole accent and everything. It'd be totally fun. So more on that to come. Anyway, later, taters.